So, we're under the hood of the Saab again, and what do we have today? Yeah. So what we have in here is, the power builder box, which is pretty much a knockoff BR, but all the wiring seems to be the same, and I have this thing, which should help me out. I'll show you guys how that was made now. So, we're on the bench, and trying to figure out how to do all this wiring. So we got some perf board, some wire, and a ton of diodes. So what I'm understanding from everything, what you have to do is you have to get the signal from each and every single ignition coil, and the signal has to be grounded out for it to work correctly. So what I've been reading from the Subi guys, they actually take the pulse off of both of their ignition coils, since there's two coils that run the 4 injectors. So what I'm gonna do, the same thing. I'm gonna find spark for each single ignition coil, and of course we will be going through the actual diagram. Yeah, this thing is in BR, of course, because it is actually a PQY power builder, but things the same. So yeah, all the wiring's the same, and yeah, all of that. And of course we got to look at the saab 9.3 wiring with a trionic ECU, and yeah, of course, there's gonna have to map stuff out, but I believe this is what I have to do. Find all of the ignition coil signals, and also find the RPM signal, which I'll tap off when the injector pulses, and I think that should do the trick. So that's what I'll be doing. And of course, wiring all these ignition coil signals in parallel, I will be using diodes. I'm using 1N4007s. These are rated for 1000 volts, 1 amp. So I think that's more than enough, but most likely the signal is going to be only like 5 volts or whatever, and milliamps at most. So that's what I'll be using. So I have 5 of them. I'm going to use a blocking diode on the RPM signal also, just to play it safe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this. I have the holes pre-marked out, so I'll be using that hole for the injector pulse for the yellow wire, and for the green wires I will be going like this. So I'll be going into here. So yeah, I have the holes marked off, as you can see, so let's do that. So the way I have the diodes oriented, the white is facing that way. So that is the way the voltage will be flowing, I believe. So it goes this way, and this end, that's where the power builder box will be hooked up to. And then this side, these all go to each of the ignition coil pulses, or the ignition coil signals. So I am going to use this wire and wire that in. So let's do some wiring. I'm probably going to time lapse this, so yeah. Alright, so that should do the trick. All these are staying pretty good. I'm yanking on it and they're not moving. Yeah, they're not going anywhere. All the ignition coil signals are going to these. Diode, this goes to the power builder box. This blue wire, I'm going to trim it. Then this goes to RPM signal, which will be injector. I'll probably end up just dabbing a little bit of super glue on all that just to hold everything together, and I'll try to pot it somehow so water doesn't get to it since it'll be in the engine bay. So yeah, that is that. So I actually got it hooked up now. I'm not going to show you any of that wiring because honestly there's no actual tutorial on how to do this on saab, and also every single car's wiring is different. Yeah, I could actually be doing this wiring completely wrong, but for the most part it's finding all the spark signals and an RPM signal for this to work properly. But yeah, that's it right here, that little piece of perforator wiring going to all the spark signals and the ignition signal. So let's see if this actually works. So here's my car actually on, and the PQI power builder box is actually in, and you can see it sitting down near my pedals and stuff like that. And it is actually wired to this switch over here because I don't want it on all the time. Like I don't want this thing like trying to kick in and do its thing. So let's actually flip this on. So it is on at the moment, and let's see if it wants to work. See, the light is actually blinking down there, and it seems like it's doing something. It sounds like the ignition is cutting out. That's with my cutout closed, and right now it's at the stock settings or the factory settings, which is supposed to be cutting out around 3,000 RPM or doing the rev limit at 3,000 RPM. So let's actually open up my. I actually have a cutout on this car, so let's open that up and actually listen to it with the cutout open. So it is open, and you can see the gauge and the power builder box. So let me rev it again. Okay, this did something to my car. It feels like it's running on 3 cylinders right now. So let me turn this thing off and let me try to let it reset. Doesn't seem like it's working correctly. There we go. Now, and a check engine light came on. Yeah, that's great. So that check engine light is most likely P1351 for the ignition. So on my torque app, let's see. Yes, P1351, which is low spark signal. Or, yeah, it's something to do with spark signal. This happens when I turn on this PQI power builder box, but this thing is doing something. It's not holding the rev where it's supposed to be around 3,000 RPM though, which, yeah, that's what this power builder box should be doing, but it isn't. So I guess I succeeded in the fact that I got this PQI power builder box hooked up on my saab, which I've never seen it done on one of these Saab 9.3s before, because I've looked it up and I've never seen it, but it's a fail in the sense that it doesn't work correctly. And right now I don't know if the fact of the matter is that because if it's a knockoff BR box or if it's the actual electronics of the car, because this is never done on saab before. So I guess that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed my fail on this PQI power builder box, and yeah, thanks for watching.